Hello and welcome. Today we are unboxing and taking a first look at the Polish Beryl as imported by Arms of America. Let's get into it. Cool, okay. Rifle case. Visum NC Star. I think these are like 30 bucks on Amazon. FB Radom magazine, so not the WBP mag. Ugh. The rifle itself in plastic. Buried down in here are some small parts. We'll take a close look at those later. So, all right, that's it for this. There we go. And there we have it, the Polish FB Radom Beryl, from beryllium, which I struggle to say. So this is a 5.56 true NATO AK. This and its smaller brother are the only true NATO AKs. These were developed from the Polish Tantals, which were themselves the Polish take on the AK-74. It has an interesting history, and of course the military provenance being issued to Polish soldiers. So super neat rifle. Nice. I like the extended mag catch. That's very nice. I like that a lot. Safety's a little stiff. We can work on that. I got this from Arms of America. They occasionally get some in and they're in stock for like 5 minutes. I guess because of the military pedigree on these particular examples, they sell out almost instantly. So I'm glad to have one, and we'll definitely do some more video on this. We'll do a whole suite of magazine tests. It's kind of rattly. The trigger is a fine group trigger. However, the Polish one was included, so we'll probably change that out. I do like that the pistol grip screw and the stock screw are flatheads, although the screws in the buttstock and on the sling swivel are torque screws. There's no optics rail on the side like normal. It uses a different system, and I gotta get one of those rails. So that's the view from over there. So let's take a close-up look and see what we got here. All right, here we are up close, and let's take a deep dive.
Starting here at the tip, the muzzle is threaded 14mm left hand.
It does have this step-down part, and it looks like an unmilled bayonet lug, which is interesting and will be a future project. I know for import purposes they can't bring them in with the bayonet lug, but it would have been nice for that to have been done after the fact. The front sight is canted ever so slightly to the left. Not bad enough to be a problem. It definitely can still be zeroed. But you can see they adjusted the sight to the right. It's definitely canted a little bit that way. The gas block itself is obviously 90 degree. And they don't have the accessory lug that the military ones do. The handguard here, we've got 2 sling loops on the handguard retainer. It's an interesting system because you can throw this lever and then it'll just pop right off. You can remove your handguards without disassembling anything else. Handguards are neat. They have a spring tension system and heat shielding, at least in the lower. There we go. They are a bit rattly and looser than I guess I'm used to with wood handguards.
Taking a look at markings, we have the import mark here for Arms of America. And turning it over to the other side, we have caliber marking on the rear sight base, as well as the serial number on the trunnion, all the markings from the factory, FB Radom markings, and at the rear of the receiver, we have Atlantic Arms markings who did the conversion.
Moving on, we have a very nice big magazine catch. I will say the mag well is very tight. Inserting a couple of the mags that I've got just to see what fits. Basically, only stuff that is very narrow in the front will actually fit, because this is basically AK-74 style mag well, whereas like the Galils and the Z-Pap, those are AK-47 style mag wells. They're wider, especially in the front. Like I said, I've inserted a couple of mags just to see what fit, and the paint just really does not last. Good news is it's paint, so you know, and you can always, I guess, repaint it. But yeah, that's, I haven't even shot it yet. I've just inserted a couple of mags to see if they would even fit. I guess because it is a military weapon, the finish is military grade. All right, moving on further back. We've got a nice safety here. I like that it has different protrusions so that you can grasp it. And the dust cover is bent out right there to prevent over travel of the safety. It's bent out just a little bit. Pistol grip here is just bone standard polymer. Moving back a little bit, the locking tab on the dust cover here has a little spring-loaded catch, but you press that down and then press the recoil spring in, and the dust cover comes off just like normal.
Let's take a look at the bolt. There's no noticeable pin holding the piston in, but I don't know if that's just hidden under the finish or not. Bolt itself is thin stem with a free-floating firing pin. Pretty standard fare. Bolt carrier here. Again, everything seems to be covered by the same finish. There's a very interesting scallop cut on the left-hand side of the bolt carrier. Taking a look at the front trunnion, it is a chrome-lined barrel.
And it looks like we do actually have a trigger pin retaining plate rather than some shepherd's hook nonsense. Oh, and the safety is actually separate. Moving a bit further back, like I said, this little nub here in conjunction with these slots in the front side block, that is the system by which the optics rail is mounted, and it just goes across the top here. Moving a bit further back, we have the stock here. This is one of the 922R compliant parts, so it seems fine for what it is, but I like the Polish ones better anyway. All right, last but not least, we do have a trap door. Fits just fine. So speaking of the cleaning kit, that cleaning kit is kind of useless without a cleaning rod, and there is provision for it underneath the handguard here. However, there's not really anything to retain it out front, and this vestigial bayonet lug really gets in the way. And I cannot find any pictures of Polish soldiers actually running around with a cleaning rod on their rifles. It may be because they use like a magazine pouch with a segmented cleaning rod like this. That may be what they do. I think these rods actually came with my M90, but they fit really, really well in this mag pouch, so that's where I've left them. It's pure speculation, but I think that might be what they're doing. Let's take a quick look at the small parts that came with this. So one is this very short grip screw. This is for the proper, like Polish style grip, so I gotta get one of those. This is the stock retaining plate. So again, this is for the proper Polish telescoping stock. That'll make that a little bit easier because these by themselves are like 20 bucks for some reason. So there's those two. And then of course, this is the Polish fire control group. Nothing sexual about that at all. And here we are. So we got the sling on here, helps cut down a little bit of that rattle. I changed out the trigger for the original Polish trigger. It was interesting to note that the 5 group trigger uses a separate hammer spring and then trigger return spring. It doesn't have the like snake's teeth that the traditional AK hammer spring does. So that was interesting to note, but I was able to get the original trigger in there, no problem. Oh, and I have a Tantal bipod. So that's a lot of fun there. I believe that's what the step in the barrel is for. Is for this bipod to clamp onto, which it does very nicely. I think that's a legacy thing from the Tantal, but hey, you know, why not? Let's pimp it out. Yeah, that's all the accessories I have for this right now, but we'll be getting more in the future. I'll do a follow-up at that time, as well as a magazine test. So I have a plethora of 5.56 AK mags that we are going to test in this one. And while I know many of them won't work, we will definitely find out the ones that do. So stick around for that, and I will see you next time. This is kind of maddening.